I saw Canada as an opportunity place. Why? Mexico, we have a very long culture and very long history, and Canada is very, very young. And I want to be part of something that is growing, that is young, that is vibrant. When I came to Canada, I have never encountered racism because I was a bean in a pot of beans. Then I came to Peterborough particularly, and I found myself to be a bean in a pot of rice. Cooking has been very ingrained in me. Cooking is like a jealous wife. She lets me go see around, but then she also tells me, you need to come back, you belong to me.
What I really like about coming here to La Mesita is just the chance to talk to Martin about Mexican food.
Before we even had a wedding date, we already picked a Martin to cater for us.
Most of Martin's recipes come from his mother, and I truly wished I had met her.
I was born in Mexico in 1973. I am the youngest of four. I have a sister and two brothers. When I was 6, 7 years old each, my dad was a security guard on a factory, and we lived at that factory. And because there were not too many people from other countries, some people who were investing on this company, they were from Germany, and the owner said to my mom, could you make some food for them? My mom, yeah, sure. And they really liked it, and they were really excited, but then my mom said, like, yeah, free food, who cares? Like, free, everyone likes. Well, years later, when we put our taco stands on the streets, is when she actually believed that we were that popular and that she was a great cook. There was a time when my neighborhood, it has a bad reputation, and I was starting to hang out with them, so my mom put it very simple. I'm not gonna allow you to become one of them, so we're gonna be selling tacos on the streets. I thought she was joking, and she wasn't. I was extremely ashamed. Whenever someone came to buy quesadillas with my mom, I pretend I was a customer because I was ashamed to be seen in there. And it was for a long time. And one day there was this girl that I wanted to ask out, and I said to my mom really angry, I have not even money to buy her a coffee. Friday arrives, and she takes money and gives me money. Like, what is that from? That's your pay. Oh. Well, after that, I used to go to dates with many of my friends. I went to my apron. I forgot to take it out. I was that proud after. But at the beginning, I was so ashamed of being the son of a quesadilla lady seller. But now I'm very proud. She told me everything. We were extremely popular in Mexico. So my dad actually quit his job. He came to my mom and moved her out of the grill, and you cook, I sell. She was really focused on what she did. And her passion was cooking. I never realized that until now. But she had a knack for cooking. She could put a roast of meat with a cup of water and go to sleep. And then out of sleep, she will open just one eye and tell me, go turn it off, it's cooked. Like, what? Go turn it off, it's cooked. Okay, so I went check, and she was right, it was perfectly cooked. She could cook by smell. I can be cooking something and she's like, it needs more chili. You haven't even tried it, it doesn't have enough chili. Yeah, you're right, it's more chili. So she was having that incredible way to put things. Sorry. She just died a few months ago. She was really proud, and she was great about cooking. Then my dad is the classic street guy, that he's a streetwise and people loves him, and he has a great personality. Even the dogs follow him. So with his personality and he knowing so much people, more people start to come, and we reach a bigger high. And he's an amazing person. He's a lousy administrator. He took the money we sold and buy things we didn't need, and then suddenly we realized we were broke again. So my mom said, okay, you're gonna be selling, but you don't touch the money. And then she put my brother, and my brother, he's extremely money-wise. Well, in 20 years, we built 3 houses, and everyone got a career. That was by selling tacos. And my dad, being the personality, he was always the face of the place, but he got older, leave my brother take his place, and I was on the back always being the prep guy. I was the one going to the market, buying the chicken, pulling the chicken, doing everything at home. But one day my sister got sick, and she needed to go to the doctor. My brother, he said, you need to go to the taco stand, you're gonna be selling. And there's 2 older men, and they said, oh, where's Raul? Oh, he's at the doctor's. He will be here tomorrow. You know what? We have some restrictions on our diet. He always makes us eggs and salsa and fresh tortillas. Can you do that? Absolutely. So I whisk some eggs, put them in the flat top, warm more tortillas, give them salsa, give it to them. And when they start eating, they look at me and they say, this is amazing. I'm like, thank you. No, we mean it. It's amazing. Like, I don't know what you mean. When your brother cooks them, they are good. But what you did different? Like nothing. It's the same flat top. It's the same container he whisks his eggs. It's the same lady helping me doing tortillas. Well, he said, you have something that it tastes different. And every time I came to cover my brother for whatever reason, people start to ask for me. Oh, I want him to cook my stuff. And I didn't even try, but I pushed him out of the place. So I became the face of the place. And following what my dad used to do, I learned how to be really friendly and make people feel comfortable. So there were hundreds and hundreds of people every day coming. Then we became so famous. I went to a concert, and some guys like, you're the taco guy, like, yeah. So I just became to be really, really popular around it, and I never got in trouble, I think. Back in Mexico City, there's no many people from many other countries, so I never have any contact with anyone who speak another language or have another culture. So it was plain. I mean, I loved it. I have a lot of friends. I did everything that any other Mexican do. But life wasn't too promising. You get a job and that's all you will do, and not too many things to do around. I never met even people who had left the country for vacations, nothing. But then life was happy that showed me different ways to do things. I keep working with my parents, and then one day I got the opportunity to work on a cruise ship. I took it, and my life completely changed. I'm gonna sound so ridiculous, but the thing I'm more grateful is life. When I was in Mexico, one day I hurt my neck moving a piece of furniture. No big deal. I went to the doctor, they put a collar, and they give me very good painkillers, very good. So good that my appendix exploded 3 times, and I never felt it because the painkillers were that good. So I went to the hospital, and they do a surgery, peritonitis, and they put the mask on me. I think it was the only time I really talked to God, honestly. And I didn't ask him to save me. I didn't ask him to kill me. I just said to him, do whatever you want. And since then, my life has changed a lot. Because I spent a month at the hospital, but I didn't have time to feel sorry for myself. I was in a hospital where all the trauma from Mexico City arrives. So I was in pain, and then I saw people with more pain or more gruesome accidents. So I didn't have time to feel sorry for myself. So a month before the surgery, I did an application to join a cruise ship. I spent a month at the hospital, 1 month at home, and then they called me and said, we have your application, and we want to know if you're still interested or not. So I just pretend that I was okay. I came, I did the whole application, all the things I needed to do to be able to apply for the job. And they said, we will call you to join on a cruise ship. It could be in a month or 2, we don't know when, depending the crew necessities. Okay. They called me 3 days later. Oh, you're leaving tomorrow to Alaska. And I'm like, what? Yeah, you're going to Alaska. Yes, and how? You need to come right now. We have your ticket. We have your hotel reservation, and you're joining in 3 days, but you need to be there before. Okay. So I just said to my mom, Mom, I'm going to Alaska. I'll see you later. Ever since, life has changed completely. I never thought I would be living out of Mexico. I learned English as a hobby. I never thought I would be actually living outside of Mexico and speaking it every day as an everyday language. So I'm grateful for that. If somebody told me 15 years ago that I will be in Canada living, I would never believe it. I had come to Canada 1 time before. I spent 2 months as a tourist in Toronto, and I just find the place so interesting because when I came the first time, I saw a police car parking on a place not to be parked. And in Mexico it's the most common thing, like, whatever. But then a police parking car came on the side, and he started to honk, and the other police never came. And amazed me that he made a ticket and put it on the police car. And I was like, I want to be there. People actually believe what they do. So I fell in love with that, and when I came to Canada, I saw Canada as an opportunity place. Why? Mexico, we have a very long culture and very long history, and Canada is very, very young. And every Mexican, we came from different states and we have different uprisings, but there are certain things that unite us as a Mexicans, right? Can be music, can be art, can be movies. Doesn't matter what part of Mexico you are a Mexican, but Canada is still not there yet. And I want to be part of that. I want to be part of something that is growing, that is young, that is vibrant. Back in Mexico, one of the most popular tacos is tacos al pastor. Many Mexicans don't know that tacos al pastor came with the immigrants from Turkey and Persia because they do shawarma. And tacos al pastor is the same as a shawarma, but as a Mexican, lamb is too expensive, so I'm gonna change it for pork. And shawarma is too sweet, I'm gonna put some chili. And then guess what? I wanna put a pineapple on the top. And now it's one of the most popular tacos. These immigrants came to Mexico and they made a change that got it so ingrained in Mexicans. I don't think I'm as important as they were, but I would like to. I see achievements in a different way for most people, but in the ones who most people see, we won an award. I say we because they put my name, but if she's not there, nothing is happening. That was the Immigrant Entrepreneur of the Year. Sounds awesome. I don't know what is that, but it was a way to feel people recognize what we're doing.
First of all, we were blown away by the nomination because we didn't realize that anybody had thought that we were worth it. Then we made it to the finalists and we thought, wow, this is just a huge honor. And it was, so we'll go, we won't expect anything.
We have a drink.
Yeah. Because the people that were in the same category with us, they were very impressive and they had worked really hard and done a lot. And we thought, there's no way. So we went there and he didn't even prepare a speech.
Because there was no way.
When they announced him, he stopped and he looked at me and I said, yeah, that's you. And he went, oh my gosh. And he got up and he walked down, did a beautiful speech. But to this day, we still don't know who nominated him. We haven't got a clue, but whoever it was, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
I have a passion on food and on food. Then after that, I think a bit more on food. When I started cooking at the beginning, I didn't like it. I was ashamed. And then when I grew up and I was a bit like 20 something, I wanted to work on an office like everyone else. I was working on the Yellow Pages in Mexico. So I was always wearing a tie and having a headset on my head and talking to people. But then the kitchen always pulls me back. One way or the other, I finished cooking again. And I just realized that cooking has been very ingrained in me. Cooking is like a jealous wife. She lets me go see around, but then she also tells me, you need to come back. You belong to me. So I'm very passionate about food, but also I'm very passionate about family. Like I have a beautiful twin boys, and I also have a stepson and a stepdaughter. And my life just revolves about family and work. I spend time with my wife and do as much possible to make this grow. La Mesita, it came out of the blue. I came from Mexico and we were very popular for the food. And I needed to do something. I was trying to find a name that is kind of warm and is not pretentious. I don't want to sound like El Rancho or my Mexico Lindo or those big names that sometimes I find them too over the top. I wanted something simple, something comforting, and Mesita means little table. So pretty much when people came, I said like, come to my little table. and it's more about being on a community. It's not like having big places where they are so far away. I want them to feel like we are part of the same table and we have the same conversations and we laugh about the same jokes, and sometimes we cry about the things someone says that makes us all sad. I love those googly eyes because they drive my wife crazy. She thinks like I'm like a big boy, and I think she's right. I think she's really right. Many restaurants, they have an interior designer who organizes everything for them, right? And it's pretty good. It looks really pretty. But I go to places and I say to people, why is this, why is that? And they look at me like, I don't know. Well, to me, it's important that my place is myself, and I'm very playful. So I found those, and I thought they would look awesome on this piece. And this piece was a present from some people who really like our food. So almost every single piece at the restaurant has a reason why it's in there. Nothing is random, nothing is just because it's pretty. Everything has a reason or a story behind. In my place, I have a couple of pieces that are very important to me. The more important one is the Virgin Mary. Back in Mexico, every Mexican, you are not religious, but you are Mariano. You believe in Virgin Mary, that's very important to us. And my mom was a big believer on her. Last time I went to Mexico, my dad disappeared for a whole day. Like, where are you? Like, I came to visit you and you just disappear? What's wrong with you? And he came back with this one, and I'm like, oh, that's very pretty. And he said, pretty? I spent all day chasing a guy to make it for you. And then I find out like, oh my God, that's so nice, because I thought he was just losing time, and no, he was doing something important to me. So this is the way I have my mom and my dad in here present. So for some people, it's just like all Mexican places have a virgin, and it's true. But to me, that's my mom and my dad. That's the reason why it's so important to be in the most important place in the restaurant. The name in Mexico is La Virgen María de Guadalupe. When she appeared to a Mexican Indian, the old religions became the new religion. That was the pivotal moment. From then, that moment when she appeared, the whole history of Mexico changed. My mom was really believing on her. In fact, that's my sister's name too. So I have 3 family members in there. Is my mom believes, my dad present, and my sister's name. My whole family is very big. Last family reunion, there were more than 200 people, and that's just my dad's size. I have this uncle, his name was Roberto, Uncle Beto, and he was like my dad. And whenever I did something wrong, he came and corrected me. Whenever I did something good, he came and always supported me. And I really loved him. When he died, in his house, he always had these kind of clocks, wooden clocks. And I said to my cousins, I really want that clock. Like, reminds me of your dad. And they said, we know what is our dad. We need to keep it. Yeah, fair. So one day I was driving in somewhere here outside Peterborough, and I saw it on a store. And I just saw it and I was like, oh, how much you want? But the how much was just an excuse, because regardless how much it will cost, I will get it. I got it and I bring it in here and I take a couple of pictures, send them to my cousin and say like, you see, I got it. I got my uncle in here. And it's not his, but that's the memory that I have of him. I'm recovering memories. Because when I came to Canada, I came with a backpack. Even the guys at customs, they said, any goods to follow? Some people, when they came, they bring the whole household. And I said to him, no, that's it, a backpack. And he looked at me like, welcome to Canada. Let's see how it goes. So I don't have heirlooms. I don't have photos of the family. I don't have many things. So I had to find a way to bring them back to me. And coming back to regular schedule, the third piece is actually 3 pieces. One day I took my kids with Kelly, we went to the reptile zoo. And my kids, they knew we were starting to organize the restaurant, and they took those iguanas, and jokingly he said, Daddy, I want you to put this at the restaurant. And I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. I need my kids in here too. And again, I don't want to have photos because those are personal, those are for me. But I have to find a way to have them here, and that's another way. Like, I have them here, they choose something to be in here. For example, I have a little tiny Lego warrior, and one of my kids, and he's keep it at the restaurant that he will protect you. This is what they said to me. That's the important part of it. Before I met Kelly, I was in a very dark space. So now with Kelly, I just want to go back to have a real family. I think we have never even put it on words, what they mean to me. That's why she got emotional too. What makes me unique, besides my crazy personality and these good-looking faces, no, I'm not. When I came to Canada, I went to places that they said they have Mexican food, and they were far away from real Mexican. A lot of people go to Mexico, and they go to an all-inclusive resort, which is awesome. But they give you what they think is important for you. They give you comfort food with a hint of Mexican and 2 chiles on the side if you want to try, which is okay. But working on the cruise ship, I realized that whenever port I stop, I always went to the market and I eat what regular people ate. And I saw the difference from what they made me try to pretend that it was the local food to the real local food. What I'm trying to be different is to show what real everyday Mexican food is. Mexicans, we don't eat burritos often. Nachos, everybody thinks are Mexican. They are not. They are from the States. So that's one of the things I want to show in here. When people go to a restaurant, they make it fancy. I want to unfancy it. I want you to come and get dirty. I want you to, your taco fell on your chest and no one cares. I just want you to be comfortable. So here at La Mesita, one of the things I wanted to be really sure is that people have the freshest food I can offer them. I don't even have a microwave in here. I don't believe in those. I don't like them. And most people is trying to give back to organic, which is the normal way food must be done. Being said, many people are choosing to be vegetarian, vegans, and because of that, many places they don't accommodate them. I love my meat, but I understand that someone else comes and doesn't want meat. I want to be sure that I have a couple of options for them, and they don't feel like I can just give them a salad. I want something who has substance, right? Who has actually flavor. And at the same time, at the farmers market, one day somebody came and they said, "Oh, do you have any nuts on your products?" No, I don't. And I wasn't even thinking about it. It's just, I don't cook with nuts often. And they told me that their kids were extremely allergic to nuts. And then I realized that whenever I open a place, I cannot have nuts because it's very recurrent. So anything in this building has touched nuts. Most people ask me for mole. Mole is a beautiful sauce from Puebla, but it has a lot of allergens. So I said to people, I'm sorry, I know it's very Mexican, but I cannot make it because I don't want to get anyone in jeopardy to get ill or sick or worse. When I started in the farmers market, I started in Lakefield, and it was a struggle to make people to try my salsas. One lady was really funny. She said to me, "How long your salsas last?" "A week." And she came the next week. "You are a liar." "What do you mean?" "It lasts 20 minutes. It was that good." So people started to get more comfortable, and then I was able to get into the Peterborough farmers market. I was the very first one doing any kind of Latin food in there. So one day, Elvis Stoico and Gladys stopped at the farmers market, and they bought a burrito like many other people. I didn't know who they were, no big deal. But then Kelly was checking on the Facebook page, and she saw that Elvis Stoico checked at La Mesita. And she's like, "That's a big deal. Like, I don't know who he is. Like, he's a skater." "Oh, well, I don't know anything about it." But then I said to Kelly, "You know what? There's a place in California called La Mesita. Maybe it's over there." And she double checked and no, that's you. And then take a look at, and then he was on the photo eating the burrito. So like, "Oh yeah, I remember him." He lived in Mexico for 12 years when he wanted to get out of the radar. And he met Gladys over there. And he said it's the best Mexican food he can find because they do shows all around Canada, right? And they go many places and they said they haven't found real Mexican. So that was a very nice compliment. When I came to Canada, I have never encountered racism because I was a bean in a pot of beans. Then I came to Peterborough particularly, and I found myself to be a bean in a pot of rice. And people is racist but they don't even see it. That's the craziest part. One day, one older man came to the farmer's market and out of the blue looked at me and started, "Ándale, ándale, arriba, arriba, yepa, yepa." And I'm like, okay, I'm not Speedy Gonzalez, but he didn't mean nothing wrong, but it was very uncomfortable. Sometimes people came and they said, "Oh, I speak Spanish." Like, "You do? Good. Yeah, I know how to say dos cervezas, por favor." Learn a new one. Because that one, maybe they don't mean it, but that means that everyone who speaks Spanish is your servant. And I'm not. I'm an equal. I don't appreciate that.
It surprises me when it happens because I don't think about it. Because we are who we are. And then when you see that hatred on someone's face, it takes you back. I didn't see the racism until we were out, and the looks that we get from people, and they're not nice. They're nasty looks. Yeah, and they look at me, and then they look at him, and it's like,
What are you doing together?
why are you with him? And I look at him and say, honey, give me a kiss.
No.
Because I love this man. And I don't care what anybody thinks.
And I'm just like, you know what? If that's the way they grew up, that's the way they feel, that's the way they want to be, their problem. I don't mind, I don't care, as long as they don't say nothing to me. I'm very friendly with everyone, and they feel that they know me. But very few people really know what's inside. The restaurant and the market has been amazing to create customers who became friends. We are getting to there. But it's really interesting. Some guy came to the market and he's like, I saw how you do your breakfast burrito. And I did it at home, but it doesn't have your stories. In my mind, I'm always in a rush, but I haven't realized that they love to hear me saying stories, saying jokes. And I just like people to make feel special. And then when you go and I see you at the farmer's market, or I see you at the convenience store, or wherever I see you, you are the same special person to me. It's not an act for the market. And that's why I think people like when they see me somewhere. Sometimes it's funny, I feel like a rock star. You are that guy, you are the guy with the burritos. Like, yeah, that's me. People came to the restaurant, sometimes they say, like, what's your background? Where's your family coming from? And then they tell me. It was just a way to tell my mom. People from other countries like their food that much. The last time I talked to her, she was over the moon. She was so happy. I was saying to her, like, you know what? Some of my customers are from India, some are from England, some of them, I have even African customers that they love your food. And she was really proud.